YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back in Total War Attila. We're gonna jump into an online battle. Haven't done many online battles this week, and it's because I've been focused on, obviously, the Warhammer news, and then the legendary West Rome campaign is fun. I'm actually enjoying it. I may change my mind if it gets worse and worse and worse, but as of the moment, I'm enjoying it. And wanted to bring you all some online action. This is going to be Sassanids versus the Roman Expedition. And I wasn't super worried about playing against the Roman Expedition, but I couldn't really remember all their units. I just remember that they have a somewhat limited roster. Some units are good in their roster, but just not that great. I've got 3 Armenian slingers, kind of one on each flank and then one in the center, just obviously to slow down enemy cavalry that wants to YOLO. And I've got a couple of these cheap Persian cataphracts to ward off cavalry YOLO as well. They're not great, but they can intercept enemy cavalry, and I'm using them to stand in front of my elite Dialemite warriors, which is my infantry backbone. And then I've got Persian Brigade, Persian Fire Brigade, I guess, whatever you want to call these guys. They've got Persian Crazy Hat Brigade on the flanks, and they are led by Griv Penvar cataphracts. My general is back here. He is in a Persian noble unit. I'm just trying to save money here. I really like the spa bed unit a lot, but it's very expensive. Now, my opponent brings a very odd Roman army. His infantry line is just nothing but these foederati, and his cavalry is just a ton of foederati cav, and then a ton of these cataphracti. So that's all. He brought 10 cavalry units other than his general, and his general is back here. I'm assuming that's a Bucalari guard. Yeah, it is. So he's got a lot of cavalry, and this worried me a great deal. In fact, what I expected from my opponent right now is just to kind of YOLO in and try and destroy my Dialemite warriors. My cavalry can probably be dealt with if he quickly overwhelmed all my infantry. However, my Armenian slingers can slow his cavalry down, and actually killed a decent number of them here because he wasn't paying attention, and this cataphracti strayed within the long range of my Armenian slingers. They do have armor, but without a block chance, the Armenian slingers can picket cavalry somewhat effectively. They fire very quickly, and so they can do some damage before people recognize it. So again, the speed debuff here is pretty significant on these units. You can see it goes from 80 all the way down to 60. Yeah, those are the same units, so it's a significant speed debuff. My Griv Penvar, I'm just going to go straight into combat because I know that my Griv Penvar is superior. I'm going to use these Griv Penvar to just slam the cataphracti on the charge. So I'm using the very heavy weight class, just heavy weight class of the Griv Penvar. And these cataphracti are going to get through, but I plan to just kind of slow them up with Persian Brigade. And then again, he's going to get through with some of his cataphracti here, but he'll get swamped by the Dialemite warriors there. And my Savaran cataphracts, managed to destroy his cataphracti there. Down the center, he did catch me right here. I didn't really get a charge, but the javelins from a Dialemite warriors are slowing down one of his cataphracti, so I kind of sat back because I had the skirmishers, so there was no reason for me to rush into his little crescent formation and get outflanked. So I used my slingers to help here. We got rid of some of his units, and then basically I shouldn't have gotten engaged with the foederati, and here his cataphracti are trying to catch me, but I can just kite back and keep firing with the other Armenian slinger, minimizing his damage. Again, on this flank, I don't want to be charged. I'm going to do the charging, and his medium shot cavalry is going to get massacred by Griv Penvar. Just absolutely massacred. Weight class makes a huge difference in this game. Now here he gets what he needs, which is a charge with his shot cavalry, and even in shield wall, I was in loose, or like very thin formation, so I'd take a ton of damage still. You would take damage even in a dense formation. But yeah, it just gives me time to send in my Persian Brigade to tie him down, and over here just quickly crushing his shot cavalry that has to face the Griv Penvar. I used my Persian noble to wipe out one of his foederati, and then my Dialemite warriors, I put them into shield wall at the last second and moved up. So in shield wall, they will massacre his foederati. So I'm in good shape here. I did basically everything that I needed to get my enemy where I needed him to be in order to gain victory. My opponent just didn't, all that cavalry could have potentially been a victory here. Cavalry goes a long way in the vanilla Attila game. And so for him, it was definitely a mistake to not use that earlier and more decisively, because now my infantry is kind of defeating him in the center, and I'm starting to get cavalry units free. My Armenian slingers have ammo, and they're fleeing to the back of the battlefield. I have saved the precision shot on them just in case I need it. He does get into my Persian noble general here with a foederati cav, and it is quite good against other cavalry. But I did use Brace on my Persian nobles to try and tank them up a little bit for this fight. Fortunately for me, I have health going for my Persian nobles and armor. The enemy general's here, though, and he's a tempting target. I've got my Griff Penvar very nearby, and I'm going to charge the Bukulari Guard Cavalry. I think I will do a lot of damage to it on the charge with my Griff Penvar. It's only a medium cavalry, so yes, there will be a ton of damage dealt on the charge. And then his other Foederati Cav here gets charged, and he's losing the infantry fights. I can now support my general with elite Dalamite infantry that has won its fight because of the shield wall. And again, the Bukulari Guard general engaged here with my Griff Penvar. Now, after the charge bonus, the Bukulari Guard will do very well. But again, Persian Brigade are high attack, pretty decent damage units. They have very low health, but supporting a cavalry fight, they're one of the best options, if not the best option that the Sassanids have available. They tend to do better than spearmen versus cavalry, as long as they're in a support role, not getting charged, and they are cheap. So you can see there that we wrapped up the enemy general fairly quickly. He's going to rout off the battlefield. This cavalry here will come back from routing. Again, just keeping all my units at a safe distance at this point. This unit comes back from routing right when my Griff Penvar was almost on top of them. Kind of weird how these units came back even though the general had just been defeated. But I guess since the general wasn't dead, the Foederati decided to come back. These guys just got absolutely laid waste to by my Griff Penvar. And then this unit over here is going to be taking slinger fire. So the Bukulari Guard general died, and these Foederati Cav. Look at this though, they're under a withering barrage of slingers. Every other unit in the army is dead, and these guys are like, for Rome, gentlemen. They just charge right in. They don't rout, they fight almost to the last man. An impressive display. Anyway, it was an interesting battle. Didn't expect my opponent to bring that kind of army, so it kind of caught me off guard, but I had enough flexibility, and I really think he was a little too timid there at the beginning. With 10 cavalry, I mean, he could have wrecked my infantry line. There's no way I could have intercepted all his guys. Now, would that have left me an opportunity to try and get at him with my Griff Penvar later on? Certainly. But I definitely think that he could have wrecked my center with a little bit of effort and put me in a pretty bad situation. He needed to get pressure to my slingers, and it would have been best to do that with his Foederati Cav. These guys would have done a lot better versus the slingers than trying to chase them with shock cavalry. This infantry is decent in terms of attack and damage. They're quite poor in terms of health and armor, and so they would have struggled even just in a straight engagement, I think, versus the elite Dalamites, but in shield wall they got absolutely defeated. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this one. I'll be back with more online action. You all are sending me a ton of replays. I'll try and get to some of those soon as well. Like I said, just been focused on the West Rome Legendary campaign. Do go check that out if you haven't seen it. It's a ton of fun. It's putting me through my paces in terms of getting my challenges, though we're in an interesting position. If I can hold out in like Africa and Hispania for like another 5 or 6 turns, I'm going to be able to kind of hold my own at least for a while and make things interesting. So keep an eye out for that one. HeirofCarthage signing out for now.